Namaste, viewers. Welcome to Jaipur Dialogue USA. I'm Vibhuti Jha, your host. And just as always, please like, subscribe, and support our channel. Thank you for your feedback that you give on various shows. It does help understanding, learning, and making ourselves more relevant. Today, I wanted to talk about this particular thing which has been bothering me for a long time. Jammu, Kashmir, Ladakh. This is a region, that is the state, Jammu, Kashmir, and Ladakh. Forever since, every single Indian has wondered whether it's only Kashmir. Because that's the image, that is the perception created, that Kashmir controls the entire state, of which Jammu and Ladakh are territorially and land size position wise are much larger than Kashmir. But somewhere along the line, Kashmir has been controlling the entire narrative of the whole state. So, this is what we wanted to talk about, that when Kashmir talks about Azadi, this was a slogan once upon a time, which is not there now, Jammu and Ladakh's aspirations were totally ignored. It was only Kashmir. So, the area that's seeking Azadi, I am saying that now Ladakh, that is separate union territory, has got Azadi of its own. I believe, in my opinion, Jammu also needs Azadi from Kashmir. To talk about this matter, I have great pleasure in welcoming a very young man who lives here in New Jersey. His name is Neeraj Dogra. As his name would suggest, he is from Jammu. So, Neeraj, welcome to the program of Jaipur Dialogue USA today. And we are talking about this matter primarily with an intent that while Indians know what they know, we are also trying to reach to the broader Indian community and non Indian community here to really understand the aspirations of people of Jammu who have perpetually been sidelined under the overshadowing dominance of Abdullahs and Muftis, as if the Dogras didn't matter. And that's something, a tradition that every Indian living anywhere in the world must learn about it. So, Neeraj, welcome to the show for the first time, and we hope we will have more conversations on this issue. So, tell us about this particular election that has happened and where the entire conversation is about. Omar Abdullah is going to be the chief minister, and Jammu's aspirations, what's happening out there. So, tell us about your impressions about it.
First of all, Namaskar, Vibhuti Jha ji, for inviting me on your show, and thank you for giving us stage. Um, Before I go ahead, I just want to talk about like I come from Jammu Pradesh, as you said, and I coined this term in 2021, 9th June 2021. We started an organization, Jammu Pradesh People's Movement, and the initiative was to spread the awareness among people, not only across the country but in Jammu as well, that we need Jammu Pradesh. By Jammu Pradesh, we means like there are 10 districts of Jammu province, and we are seeking, as you said, freedom from Kashmir. We want to free ourselves from the clutches of Kashmir, because Kashmir has treated Jammu as its colony for the last 70 years. Uh, Jammu was handed over to Kashmir on platter by the first Prime Minister of India. Uh, and since then, Jammu has seen just discrimination, stepmotherly treatment, in terms of everything like development, jobs, all aspects. So yeah, I mean that's the start. But as you talk about the elections, right? Your question was more about elections. Uh, these elections are a statement coming from Jammu that our political aspirations are different than Kashmir. We have given mandate for CM of Jammu because we want development to happen in this part also. When you talk about Jammu and Kashmir tourism, you always see something like Dal Lake, Gulmarg, and all the places of Kashmir. but you may not have heard of anything about Jammu. So I think this aspiration is there in Jammu. This is a statement coming from Jammu that we cannot, work together. We cannot grow together because we both are fighting with each other. It is not Jammu and Kashmir. It is always Jammu versus Kashmir. Jammu always sought something different than Kashmir. Yeah, I'll cover more as we go through. I'll stop here for the time.
No, that's okay. That's but feel free to talk. There is no holds barred. So the idea is that in these 45 minutes or 50 minutes, we are able to cover and reach out to non-knowing people. Everybody talks about Kashmir. You are totally right. Kashmir tourism, Kashmir this, Kashmir that. Nobody talks about Jammu. Whereas in land size wise, it is
Yeah.
larger than Kashmir. Ladakh is larger, which Nehru talked about, that not a blade of grass grows there. The question here is very important, is that you said handed Jammu to on platter to Kashmir. Tell us about the politics of this handing over, because Nehru was a Kashmiri Pandit. And what I know, and we all know the history of Kashmir now and India now, that Nehru's and Gandhi's efforts were always to undermine the Hindu population. Forget about Jammu alone, the entire country. So, in that perspective, when you say that it was handed over on platter, the question arises why?
Uh, so I just want to go back in the history. So the thing is, in 1931, it was Maharaja Hari Singh when he went to Round Table Conference in London. He asked for complete independence for whole country, Swaraj. He said, "We want Swaraj." And since then, Britishers did not like Maharaja Hari Singh, and they erected a communist. His name was Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah, Sheikh Abdullah. So this man was a communist, very close to Nehru. He was studying on Maharaja's, this stipend in Aligarh Muslim University. But he came close to Nehru and Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi at that point of time, and then he actually in 1931 he started an agitation in Kashmir. It was called as Quit Kashmir movement. The way we had Quit India movement, he started Quit Kashmir movement, and this all happened on the behest of Britishers because Britishers wanted to, um, you know. Uh, work against Maharaja Hari Singh to cut him to size. So this thing continued in 1940s. In 1941, Maharaja Hari Singh accepted the Naya Kashmir Memorandum. This Naya Kashmir Memorandum was written by wife of or mother of Kabir Bedi. Kabir Bedi, you know that he is a Bollywood actor.
Right.
His father was a communist leader. His mother has written, typed that Naya Kashmir Memorandum. Maharaja accepted that. There were a lot of things under this, mostly women empowerment and other things. Uh, One of the things was Jammu and Kashmir will be a monarch-led democracy like UK is. That's something they asked for, and Maharaja accepted it. In 1946, Mountbatten was building the pressure on Maharaja Hari Singh to join Pakistan. And as you know, that Britishers had interest in Gilgit-Baltistan actually since inception, when Dogra Empire was founded in 1946, 1846, sorry. At that point of time, immediately after fo- fo- founding this Dogra empire, so they asked for Gilgit agency. Gilgit agency. So Maharaja Gulab Singh categorically said that it is not in Treaty of Amritsar. It is not in Treaty of Lahore as well. So I am not going to do it. The second Maharaja was Maharaja Ranbir Singh. At that point of time, also he didn't accept it, right? But the third one was Maharaja Pratap Singh, who accepted Gilgit Agency to be established in Gilgit-Baltistan because they wanted to have an oversight on Central Asia and USSR at that point of time. So when Maharaja Hari Singh, he was the fourth ruler or the king here, and when he was here, he had to face a lot of these challenges and already established Gilgit agency, residency in Jammu, residency in Kashmir. Whitefield was the British envoy in that residency in Kashmir at that point of time. He was, so why I'm giving you this history, because so that you understand that how Britishers were taking control of Jammu and Kashmir,
Yeah.
though we paid money initially. So they erected Sheikh Abdullah, and in 1946, Mountbatten wanted Jammu and Kashmir to join Pakistan, being because your Muslim population is more in this. That was the reason. But historically, Jammu was Hindu majority, Ladakh was Buddhist majority, and Kashmir was a Muslim majority. But but there was a pressure on Maharaj also that people of Jammu always wanted to merge with India. People of Ladakh also threatened Maharaja that we want to be with India, we don't want to go with Pakistan. But Kashmir and other regions where Muslims were a majority, they were also building a pressure that we should join Pakistan. But Maharaja, being a Hindu king, he was of the opinion that he should join India. In 1946, Nehru was actually elected, not elected but selected, selected
Yes.
as the head of president of Congress party. So it was well known that okay, this man is going to be the next prime minister. So he was already, it was already on his head. At that point of time, you cannot enter Jammu and Kashmir without visa. Nehru entered Muzaffarabad without a visa. This is very important. Actually, I mentioned in one of my articles in Jammu.info, which I maintain, Nehru entered Muzaffarabad. Not many people know it. In 1946, when he entered Muzaffarabad, he was arrested because he entered without the visa. This was published in New York Times as well at that point of time, and foreign media as well. Nehru was arrested and he did not like it. He didn't like that how Maharaja treated him. But it was not Maharaja actually, it was Prime Minister of Jammu and Kashmir at that point of time. His name was Ramchandra Kak. So, I'll try to summarize it here. So, that's that episode was something which created this rift between the Maharaja and the Congress party in Delhi, and obviously Nehru had that grudge, and he did that later on when Maharaja was consistently asking him that I want to join India, I want to accede with India, because there was a pressure building from all the sides. Nehru was consistently telling him that my first priority is that you hand over the power to Sheikh Abdullah, and Maharaja was not willing to do that. So that's like even when these tribals attacked Jammu and Kashmir, the first thing was Nehru was consistently insisting that you have to hand over the powers to Sheikh Abdullah, which Maharaja actually accepted at the end because he had no other options. And you can see that for our Maharaja had to leave Jammu. He was never able to come back for 14 years. He lived in Mumbai, away from his ancestral land, and only his ashes came, which we have immersed in river Tavi, Suryaputri Tavi. So there is a big history. I don't want to get into this, but yeah, that's the main problem between. And then when he gave the emergency administration to Sheikh Abdullah, and after that there is another episode what he did, and it's like 70 years of history what we have seen.
That's that's so fascinating that many people may not be knowing that. Neeraj, can I request you to shift to the little bit of center, because right now you seem to be looking towards your right. So camera को थोड़ा center में लाइए जैसे मेरा है. This is better. Look here. Right. This is okay. This is okay. Okay. That's fine.
Okay.
That's okay. Thank you. This is better. All right. So this is a remarkable part of the story history that you shared, that Nehru's, because he was arrested, so he had the grudge. And that's interesting. Why interesting is a similar thing happened in Nepal, where Rajiv Gandhi had a similar personal grudge. In Nepal, that relationship between India and Nepal got vitiated. So, not drifting from that topic, that's another one. But we notice a streak of the Nehru Gandhi family to create a situation or take advantage of that situation. If Nehru hadn't gone without passport, it was not his paternal property that he went in illegally. and then bear a grudge, that is the issue here. Somebody did his job legally, and Nehru was punishing them for surrendering the whole thing to Kashmir to Sheikh Abdullah, and the rest is history. We know that.
Yeah.
Now, my question here is another one now. What is the problem with the government of India, and why the Nehru Khandan and the entire Congress administration continued to pamper Kashmir as much as they did, totally ignoring the ambitions of Ladakh and Jammu region? That is something which is bothersome, because there are a lot of stories floating around about the Nehru and Gandhi families' affinity and sympathy and considerations for Abdullah and the Muftis. Tell us something about the politics of it all.
Uh, I think the bigger problem is when you look at how India looks at Jammu and Kashmir. Today also there are a lot of people who do not know what is Jammu and what is Kashmir. Which one is bigger, which one is smaller, which area is Jammu and which area is Kashmir. That only a person who is actually a Jammuite or a Kashmiri understands it. And there is a narrative of Pakistan which is being peddled in India. And the narrative is uh, calling the areas of Jammu as Kashmir. So this I call the fake narrative of Kashmir. This needs to be busted. I wanted to do it since long, and we are working on that. Let's start from Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir. How did we lose that land? I'll tell you a history behind it. Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir is actually 90% area of Jammu, and people, irrespective of their religion. I mean, we always look at Jammu and Kashmir and we bring in religion in that. But the fact of the matter is, people of Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir, they like Maharaja more than Sheikh Abdullah. Today also you'll find a lot of people from Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir who have a picture of Maharaja in their drawing rooms. Uh, when you look at Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir, why did we lose it? Because Nehru called for ceasefire on the behest of Sheikh Abdullah, because Sheikh Abdullah didn't want Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir or Pakistan occupied Jammu and Gilgit Baltistan to be part of it, because if that would have joined India, the equations would have changed, political equations. Kashmir wouldn't have become the epicenter, or Srinagar wouldn't have become the epicenter of the political space. That's number one. Number two, from day one, they started disempowering Pakistan, Jammu. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, they gave 30 seats, assembly seats to Jammu at that point of time, and 43 to Kashmir, 2 to Ladakh. So total 75. Yeah, did I say 75? Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, 25 and 45
No, you said 30
and
and
45.
40 and 2.
Yeah. So it's like 75, correct. And 24 were reserved for Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir since inception. So 75 number, right? Which is currently 90 right now. But look at the numbers now. Out of 90, 43 are with Jammu and 47 are with Kashmir. So Kashmir has moved from 43 to 47, a movement of only 4, and from 30 to 43, a movement of 13. Look at the difference. Why is it happening? And today also people are blaming that this delimitation, whatever happened, is based on fudged data. Kashmir has fudged, I mean, this is an allegation. They fudged the census so that the delimitation will have an impact. The first election, 13 members of the Praja Parishad party. This Praja Parishad party was actually formed by some students in this science college, GGM Science College, where they objected to a separate flag. Like, Jammu and Kashmir had a separate flag. So Jammu is fighting for Indian flag since inception. So Praja Parishad had fought for Indian flag on, and they said that we will not salute this different flag, and they were arrested. And rest is history. From Praja Parishad became Jan Sangh, and then later on it became today's Bharatiya Janata Party. So that's the whole history. But this rejection, so their nominations were rejected. 13 members nomination was rejected in the beginning, like in the first election itself, and then NC won unanimously without unopposed, right? So and then they started, doing everything, developing Kashmir, making. So we had two capitals. One was Jammu, one was Kashmir. So Jammu had a capital Like, Jammu province is big. So the problem is, when we talk about Jammu province, Jammu is a municipality also, Jammu is a district also, and Jammu is a province also, which makes people little confused, that okay, if I go to Jammu, Katra is close to Jammu, and then they see, oh, Jammu is a very small place. That has created a lot of confusion in people's mind. It is actually Jammu province which has 10 districts, which is Samba, Kathua, Jammu, Udhampur, Doda, Kishtwar. Now, erstwhile district Doda was actually one. And then when Ghulam Nabi Azad was the chief minister, he created few more districts, because that was the biggest district they kept. If you look at Kashmir, small areas got they created districts out of it. They created smaller constituencies. Uh, uh, One thing I wanted to say, that you know Jammu is actually 62% geographically compared to Kashmir. Like, Kashmir is 38% and Jammu is 62%. If you look at revenue, like a lot of things, Jammu is actually used as a cash cow. It's like a colony. It's like, you can say, modern day apartheid. Right? That's the kind of situation we are in. I'll stop.
Neeraj, I would again request you to turn to the left. Turn to your left right now. Yeah,
Left.
this is no. Right now you are looking to the right. Now this is better. Stay as you are. Stay as you are and speak as you are. All right. Thank you. This is good. This is better. Now here is a very important point. The people, I can tell you that the suppression of Jammu at the expense of Kashmir, very few people know. Very few people know. So I'm very glad that you are sharing this part of the information, because look at it this way: even the exodus of Hindus from Kashmir was not known to many people in India and the worldwide. It was made to feel as if, oh, they are running away because they are unhappy with the Muslim part of the deal, but there was nothing about the genocide, not about the exodus and all that. There is one question which I wanted to ask you, and that is the development assistance. Central government gives boatload of money, to use the American slang, boatload of money to Kashmir. Why the development of Jammu doesn't happen tourism wise? Because yes, you are right, as you mentioned in your opening statement, anytime they talk about Kashmir, it is all about Dal Lake and Anantnag and everything else, where the names have been changed. And they are trying to infiltrate, create a Muslim majority in Jammu as well by population transfer. Just look to your left, Neeraj. Look to your left. Yes, this is the way you need to be. Yeah. So this is what is important for people to understand, that Jammu's interests were totally ignored. Development assistance have not gone to develop tourism of Jammu or Ladakh. Think about it from that point of view. The politics of it all stinks, to put it mildly. So, what must happen now that you have set up the Jammu Pradesh liberation movement and seeking Azadi from Kashmir? So, undermining of Jammu, what must happen?
Yeah. Uh, Before that, I just want to touch upon this exodus thing of when Kashmiri Hindus had to leave Kashmir, and they were
Right.
given three options: leave, convert, or die. And they chose leaving along with their women to save their, women. Uh, but it didn't end in 1990. I come from a region where it continued. It continued till 2006, where massacres of Hindus, like that was the last massacre I remember. But on and off, people still got killed. Like the parents, like the father of Shagun Parayar and her uncle, like the one who won from Kishtwar today. Her father and uncle got killed a few years back, along with Chandra, Chandrakant Sharma ji, and many more people, right? I'm saying that, this attacking Hindus has happened after 1990 also, in hilly areas of Jammu. And in hilly areas of Jammu, Hindus of these areas were given village, they were given guns, and they fought as village defense groups, which is presently village defense groups. They were once upon a time called as village defense committees. So uh, this continued, massacres after massacres. People were beheaded like sheep. People were killed like Jallianwala Bagh massacre. And one of the most it was an eye opener. I was in class grade 10th or something. It was called as Japnari massacre, where a marriage was happening, where cross marriage was happening, like one brother was marrying the other, his wife's sister, something like that. So no, I mean, two brother sisters were cross married. I hope you understood.
Yes,
So
yes,
yeah.
understood. Yeah.
So when so the place where they met, there was a spring water, like spring water coming from there. They were there, and like Jallianwala Bagh massacre, terrorists actually surrounded them, asked them their name. On the basis of their religion, they were accumulated, and indiscriminate firing was done. You can read about it. Japnari massacre, it is called as. That's the time I start uh, asking myself that what's happening? Why are they killed? Being a Hindu, is it a crime or something? So I was in grade 10, and since then I became very vocal and trying to understand the whole situation. Uh, but as you talk about Jammu and Pradesh today, right? We already, so it's a natural, we are kept by the state. I don't know the reason why. We have two different directorates of every department. Like if you look at tourism department, we have director Jammu, tourism department in Jammu, and then director Kashmir, in sitting in Kashmir. Earlier, they were being controlled by the same civil secretariat, where 80% of the jobs were taken by the Kashmiri Muslims. If you go to civil secretariat, 80% of the people were from Kashmir. The language used in these offices was Kashmiri. Most of the people in Jammu, actually, we have multiple dialects and languages. Like we have Dogri, we have Pogli, we have Badarwai, Kishtwadi, Padri, Sarazi, Peshwali, and many more dialects, right? So uh, we don't understand Kashmiri. When you go to these offices, the biggest discrimination is when you do not understand a language and people are talking in that language. And that is like imposing a language on someone else. So Kashmiri was imposed on the people of Jammu. That was number one. And number two, Urdu, which has no relation to either Kashmir or Jammu, is actually imposed on us. We want to read Hindi, and most of the Hindus actually study Hindi in schools. So it becomes very difficult for them when they go into these offices, these revenue department. They never change that language. In Jammu, Dogri was never promoted. Our heritage was never promoted. Religious tourism was never promoted. We have a lot of potential. We have, you may hear that, okay, these are Kashmiri Rajma, but actually it is coming from, the hilly areas of Jammu province, or Jammu Pradesh, you can say. You have sapphire coming from here. You have saffron coming from hilly areas of Jammu. You have lavender farming happening here right now. You have tremendous potential as far as horticulture is concerned. So we have a lot of potential, but the problem is that is being tagged as Kashmir and sold in rest of India as Kashmir. But that's not Kashmir. Why will someone call me Kashmir? Why will someone call my products as Kashmiri? You can call it Badarwai, you can call it District Doda, Kishtwadi, or some other area, like something coming from Bani, you call it Bani. Why will you call something Kashmiri? We are not Kashmiri at all. And that is the struggle, and it never came out. We are trying our best that people understand what Jammu is, what Kashmir is, what how much percentage of the geographical area is Jammu. So this is how, this is what the bigger problem is, and nobody is talking about it. So we have taken up this initiative to educate people not only across the country, but international forums also, to understand what Kashmir is. Like when Ilhan Umar went to POJK, she actually went to Mirpur, right? And Mirpur is part of Jammu. So internationally also we are losing this narrative that somebody who visits Jammu, who wants to, even POJK people are ready to merge with India right now. But what are we sending the message? Oh, this is Azad Kashmir. Who says it is Azad Kashmir? It is actually an occupied territory of Jammu, occupied territory by Pakistan. So we have to set this narrative right, and that is why creation of Jammu state is very important, to send a signal that what part of the state is creating ruckus, what part of the state is actually disturbed. There are only two and a half districts in Kashmir, South Kashmir. Even northern Kashmir, you have seen in Gurez, people were voting for Bharatiya Janata Party because they want to come out of this. They want peace. So that's the whole reality of this state. But the reality can be understood Only when Jammu Pradesh is realized and rest of the country also understand, international forums also understand that this region is not asking for this kind of separatist mindset. We want a state within Union of India. We want a state like any other state, like like Arunachal Pradesh was created, like Uttarakhand was created. So something like that.
Absolutely correct. I mean, this is so shocking that the total interest of a region called Jammu has been totally subjugated to the will and whims of a particular group of family in Kashmir area. And that's what I have in my narratives. I've always called the state as JKL, Jammu Kashmir Ladakh. I never said Jammu Kashmir. Now, this is important. Now, something I did not know, and I confess with people that the amount of ignorance and lack of information that exists, that saffron and other things are produced in Jammu and is called as Kashmiri. This is so sad and so shameful. So, I want to ask you something. If you don't want to answer, don't say it, but don't put yourself into trouble. That's my first objective here. How is the entire BJP government or the bureaucracy not listening to this element? Now, you don't need to be vocal about it, but to point out where are the BJP people, the government of India, and the all the segments of the entire administration, are they being misled, or which is the political element that they can't fulfill? If Punjab could have been trifurcated between Punjab, Haryana, and Himachal, if Bihar can be made into Jharkhand and Bihar, and if Madhya Pradesh can be split, if UP can be split, if Telangana can happen, and Telangana and Andhra can happen, why not create three separate entities? And I remember I did my program here when I said that the day 370 was abrogated, I said, I wish this was the day Prime Minister Modi had also allowed Jammu to be a separate state. Tell me the reason why even today Jammu and Kashmir are clubbed as one.
Yeah. Uh, so before I go there, I think I heard you said that you call it Jammu, Kashmir, and Ladakh, which is absolutely correct. Um, Actually, if you go back in the history, till 1947, the name was Jambu. It's not JAMMU, JAMBU or BHU, whatever you want to call it. Jambu, Kashmir, Wa Tibbatat. There are revenue stamps, and you can find that on my website jammu.info, where I have actually kept that, or on internet also you can find it. With Maharaja Hari Singh's picture, it's written there Jammu, Kashmir, Wa Tibbatat, because these parts were because we conquered up to Tibet, as you know. So that's one thing. But in 1947, when obviously Sheikh Abdullah was in power, he removed that name. He just started calling it Jammu wa Kashmir. So Jammu and Kashmir. He just rejected Ladakh, and thankfully Narendra Modi ji took a very good step and he bifurcated the state. I always said that the bifurcation of Jammu Kashmir state into Jammu JKUT and Ladakh is a half job done. RSS in 2003 came up with a resolution. The Jammu and Kashmir Study Center in Delhi in 2003 came up with a resolution that trifurcation of the state should happen, because they understand it pretty well. They came up with this resolution. Very, but then there is an element not only in India but in Jammu and Kashmir also, which includes people from all segments, all religious groups as well. Even Hindus in Jammu, some of them do believe that uh, Maharaja's empire, right? That is something like that's there in Jammu in some people, especially the Rajput community. They think that okay, Maharaja's empire was so big, so how can you let it go? That is one. Second, there is a security concern. Many people say that okay, if you will have a Muslim majority state, what will happen? You already have a Muslim majority UT in the form of I think Pondicherry or Lakshadweep, something like that. One of them. And Kashmir is also of the same size. To this, I answer that it's a 75 kilometer by 200-kilometer area, right? It is less than 8% or 8 to 9% of the area of the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, which includes Gilgit Baltistan, Ladakh, POJK, Jammu, Kashmir, everything. Kashmir Valley once upon a time, people used to say that, okay, Kashmir Valley starts from Kukarnag, Anantnag area, and it ends in Baramulla, wherever this Jhelum ends. And the northern Kashmir people were not even considered Kashmiri. In 1991, in Muzaffarabad district in Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan did a survey to find out how many Kashmiris lives in Muzaffarabad district. They found out only 15% of the people are speaking Kashmiri language, that too with the Punjabi touch. And that area is actually, they currently call it Neelam Valley. The original name is Kishanganga Valley. In Kishanganga Valley, you have some Kashmiri speaking people. But that too, as I said, that they have a Punjabi touch. So that's the whole thing about it. It's a half job done. Bifurcation is a half job done. We need trifurcation of the state because all three regions were historically different. And when you look at this princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, historically there were small principalities. Even the Britishers used to say that what is the need to govern this area, because we can't. These are small kings. They fight with each other. So let Maharaja Gulab Singh handle it. That is how they let Kashmir and all this area with Maharaja Gulab Singh. They didn't want this headache. So that's why they gave it to Maharaja Hari Singh. So Jammu and Kashmir, I'm talking about province, they're incompatible couples, which you have kept them together. They are fighting with each other, and that is causing harm not only to the people of Jammu and Kashmir, but to rest of the country. The problem started in 1931 when it was Kashmir versus Jammu, right? Because Quit Kashmir movement was against the Dogras. And today also, the fight is on. It's between Jammu and Kashmir. It is Jammu versus Kashmir. So end it. The moment you end it, that something which started in 1931 will end, right? It was Maharaja Gulab Singh who ended the Muslim rule in Kashmir when he was working as a soldier in the army of, or as a Raja of Maharaja Ranjit Singh of Sikh Kingdom, or you can say Lahore Darbar. So we ended the Muslim rule at that point of time, and since then there is a difference, between the Dogras and Kashmiri Awam or Kashmiri leadership, which needs to end. Kashmir was historically different than us. Today also their culture, their language, their cuisine, everything is different. Why do you need to keep them together? You have different directorates, you have different, we had different capitals. We had Jammu city as a winter capital, so everything is different. It's just Delhi has to take a decision. And as far as security is concerned, I don't think it's a big issue. Kashmir is smaller than the 10th largest district in the country. Like if you look at the 10 largest districts, the 10th largest district, Kashmir is less than that. The whole Kashmir I'm talking about, not all the districts. So Kashmir doesn't have that capability even to become a state. It will be a UT under the, under the observation of Home Ministry of India. So keep it as a UT. You have multiple stakeholders there. You have Kashmiri Hindus also are stakeholders in Kashmir. So handle Kashmir separately and let those areas which can contribute to the GDP of the country, let them grow, prosper along with the country.
Fascinating. Very fascinating observation. There were other thing which I wanted to ask you, that the development fund, we all know, as I said earlier, the boatload of money used to go to Kashmir. What percentage came to Jammu?
So as far as allocation is concerned, right? So historically, Kashmir was the epicenter. So they sometimes used to allocate money, but then the projects will not complete. The money will lapse in March, right? Those kind of things also happened. Like I'll give you example of some of the projects. Like there was a artificial lake declared for Jammu. Till date, there is no artificial lake. They had to acquire a land for international airport in Jammu. They didn't do it. In fact, they opened a agriculture university in Jammu on the name of Shere Kashmir Jammu. Why will you have a Shere Kashmir university in Jammu? Why can't you have Maharaja Gulab Singh University or any other dignitaries in the some renowned legends we have? So what I'm trying to say is you have two directorates. Of course, I'm not saying that no money is spent on Jammu at all. That I won't say, but there is always a percentage which which is more projects get completed in Kashmir. The focus is more on Kashmir. It is Farooq Abdullah who said, it is Umar Abdullah said that the way I look at Kashmir, I don't look at Jammu the same way. So you have a chief minister right now who himself has admitted that his obviously his focus on Kashmir is more than Jammu. And even the somebody who is not getting a vote from Jammu, why will he focus on that? Farooq Abdullah said, if somebody is voting for Bharatiya Janata Party, uh, unki, I don't know what he said, unka janaza uthega. Janaza means their funeral or cremation, something like that. So their funeral will happen. I mean, what kind of nonsense is this? These are the politicians who think that, and I think today I tweeted also. You see that National Conference workers had attacked PDP workers and other independent, party, whatever parties or members. They attacked them. Even in Jammu, there was only one seat won by Aam Aadmi Party in East Doda. They attacked the BJP candidate Gajay Singh Rana. So why is it happening? I don't understand. Are we trying to? This was a very peaceful state otherwise. So they have a very different, way of functioning. Their style is different. Their focus on Jammu is different. Their treatment of the people is different. They how they look at other opponents who lost elections is different. So I think this needs to be relooked into. And I want Kashmir to, have their own politics. Like you have PDP, NC, Bukhari's party, or this Engineer Rashid party. Let them have their own political battles, right? Let them fight their own battles. Why should they be fighting with Jammu? Today, Kashmir has voted against Jammu, actually. It is not a vote for NC, it is a vote against Jammu. And Jammu has voted, obviously, in favor of a CM of Jammu. We have never seen a CM of Jammu. I call Ghulam Nabi Azad as a half Kashmiri only. So I don't consider him as a fully Jammuite. And that too, they didn't even allow Ghulam Nabi Azad to complete his tenure. It was only 3 years. They didn't even allow him. Mufti Muhammad Sayyid completed his tenure of 3 years, and then they didn't allow Ghulam Nabi Azad also, their Muslim brethren.
Tell me, like time is short, but we will need to talk more about this matter. But the two issues that I wanted to focus on right now is one is from the geopolitical angle, security angle, national security angle, like the battle royal that happens between Pakistan and India in this matter. How does Jammu figure in the geopolitical and the national security point of view? That's one question. And second one I wanted to ask is, what would you expect BJP government to do? In my opinion, they ought to declare Jammu as a separate state.
Yeah.
Do you think that if Umar Abdullah has made a statement that I'm not going to talk about Article 370, I'm going to work with center, with Prime Minister for development of Kashmir, da 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 da, that is the usual political shambolic statement. I do not know his true intent, because he also in his campaign had made a statement the aspiration of 1.4 crore people has been submerged after 370 into the ambitions or the country of 140 crore people. In light of that, I want you to say the three issues straight away. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll start with the last one. The least
Yeah.
Bharatiya Janata Party can do is to not give statehood to Jammu and Kashmir UT. The least I'm asking, right? Because that will be a step backward. It will be a threat to the national security, and it will be injustice with people of Jammu also, immediately. Because if you do not have a LG, there will, I will assume that there will be nobody who can at least look into the plight of Jammu, look into whether there is equitable development happening, whether there is the government is doing properly, sharing of funds and everything. I want LG to be there. That's number one. And national security, right? This is a question asked multiple times. Jammu is 62% of the geographical land. If you create Jammu Pradesh, you are going to have safety, security in this area. You will create a nationalist state where the chief minister will be a nationalist who will, stand by India, who will try to provide you a conducive environment to protect this region, this area, their people. And if you look at the line of control with Pakistan and the international border, we share both. We have an international border, we have line of control also. And so a large portion of that border with Pakistan is actually Jammu, right? Only one sector, which is Uri sector, is in Kashmir. I mean, I'm not a expert in this, but if you really feel that this should be governed, then you can put Uri sector or some areas of that border with Jammu, right? So that you can protect that under a nationalist and a patriotic chief minister in Jammu, and you can keep Kashmir as a UT, which is predominantly the southern Kashmir and other areas, right? Or even if you keep North and South Kashmir together, that is also fine, because Uri sector is only one sector where you have a border sharing with Pakistan. That's the national security. Geopolitically, it will give you more support, because when you go in the on the international forums, you will say Jammu is peaceful, Ladakh is peaceful. Which area? 2.5 districts. The world will stop talking about it. Like, what is the bigger narrative which is created by Pakistan? It is that they look at the whole map as Kashmir. You you dissect that. You show the world that, okay, this is Jammu, this is Ladakh, this is Kashmir. Only a handful of people in 2.5 districts are having this kind of problem. Your issue is resolved. Geopolitically, it is going to support you. You will have two chief ministers who will be nationalist, and obviously Kashmir will fall in place. Kashmir will be cut to size. I say that their backbone was broken when Ladakh was taken away. You take away Jammu, the whole problem will be solved. They will never talk about Azaadi. On one side they will have Jammu, another side they will have Ladakh. And why do Kashmiris get so much rattled whenever we talk about Jammu Pradesh? This is the reason, because they want to convert Jammu to Kashmir. They want to call. They have already started this. They're pushing for Greater Kashmir narrative. They're trying to, force the Muslims of Jammu to speak Kashmiri. Like, Muslims of Jammu speaking Kashmiri will not make them Kashmiri. They will still be Gujars and Bakarwals and other, SC, ST, whatever, ST, sorry, ST. They have the ST thing. So they will still be treated the same way. They will still not be given admission in hospitals. Their women still have to give, birth to children on the streets. This is what happened in Kashmir, but this never happened in Jammu. We in Jammu will provide a pluralistic society the way rest of the India has, right? So those are some of the benefits which I feel.
Thank you very much for joining us today, and really appreciate your time and sharing the amount of information that you have. And I think the viewers must have been, I'm totally amazed and shocked for the treatment that the people of Jammu are getting, starting with Nehru, continued between Rahul Gandhi, Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, and now this Pappu Lu, as I prefer to call him. This is critical for every Hindu to realize. That's why I often say Hindus are facing an existential threat in India itself. Forget about the rest of the world. Many people believe, oh, Sanatan Dharma will survive. No, Sanatan Dharma will survive, but it doesn't survive in Afghanistan, Pakistan, or Bangladesh anymore. Think about it from that perspective. And what Neeraj said just now, that the Greater Kashmir plan is to acquire piece of Jammu or Jammu itself, which is not theirs. That is the way these people operate. This is the way that mindset works. It is time. It's Navratri is over. Durga Puja, what do you call the, हमने रावण का दहन कर दिया. We have to identify Ravans, modern day Ravans, and we have to do their dahan as well, perhaps. So, good over evil doesn't happen with ease. It takes time. It takes effort. It requires commitment. So, this is what we are talking about here. The cause for Jammu to be a state within the Union of India, within the country called India, which is the country called Bharat. And this is for all the good reasons which Neeraj talked about. And I want to tell you something. He's telling the truth. This is no imagination. It is not a fiction. You can verify it. Kashmir is bigger than the family of Abdullah and Mufti Muhammad. Let's put it that way. The two districts. This is something which we had covered in several other programs of ours. That is only the tiny little principality of families who are creating a ruckus and a problem for the rest of the country. And that must stop. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching today. Thank you, Neeraj, for joining us today.
Thank
and
you.
as I always say, Satyameva Jayate, for truth to triumph, you and I have to fight and stand up for it.
Happy
Thank you
Vijayadashmi
very
to
much.
you, your for
Happy Vijayadashami to everybody. Thank you.